Retail crime in New Mexico. It's been an above-the-fold story for years now. And throughout the last few legislative sessions, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham has pushed for tougher laws on retail theft, and it was one of the driving forces behind her unsuccessful emergency special session this summer. Another voice supporting the governor, in this arena anyway, has been the Albuquerque Journal's editorial board. That includes editor Patrick Etheridge. Following the abrupt end to the governor's special session, the board published a scathing retort with a headline that read, quote, "New Mexico Democrats appear to care more about the criminals than their victims," end quote. 2 months later, Etheridge's future with the paper is unclear as he serves jail time for a recent arrest for shoplifting. In this next segment, Jeff's back at the desk to ask Gwyneth Dolan and Kelly Golightly how this may influence the overall conversation around retail crime in our state, both by elected officials and those reporting on it.
Kelly, Gwyneth, welcome back. We've all read the coverage of Etheridge's arrest, the charging documents, or both, and I'm sure we can imagine the stress of shopping at a Rio Rancho Walmart with two preteen boys. You can almost feel the hectic vibe coming through the officer's poorly written criminal complaint. Kelly, I'm not going to ask you to crawl inside Patrick Etheridge's head, but I do want to ask, if you have been summoned to court and charged with a crime, wouldn't it be smart to hire a lawyer before you show up for your court date?
Well, as a lawyer, yes, obviously, right? We don't know. That first appearance is usually where you put in your guilty, not guilty, okay? So people don't understand, plead not guilty, and then we can investigate. You can always change your plea, right? So he went in and probably was like, yeah, I didn't scan some items, guilty. What's problematic about this is we did not do any investigation from his perspective. And that's what you need the attorney to do. You need someone who speaks that language to be able to go in, investigate your case, and see if it was even done correctly. See if the facts even meet the charge. Did you intend to do that? There may have been a lot of defenses that we don't know because he just walked in without representation.
How might this have gone differently if he had lawyered up first?
Well, first of all, I would have had him plead not guilty, okay? And then I would have gotten the discovery. So I would have gotten the video from Walmart. I would have gotten the lapel of the officer talking with the client. I would have met with my client to find out what was going on. I probably would have been able to interview the Walmart
the loss prevention officer.
Loss prevention officer, thank you. And the officer themselves to see what they thought, what they tracked. My understanding is he was extremely cooperative. You know, didn't appear shaken or nervous, you know, other than just the general, I'm being questioned.
Yeah.
So his demeanor didn't seem to suggest somebody who may have even done it. We also see a lot of people in society that are given free legal representation who are in these same situations because they don't know what they're doing. And it could result in severe penalties. You know, people don't understand the criminal justice system until it happens to them, until it happens to their family.
But you know who does? People who've been cops and courts reporters, right? This was a job that Jeff did while he was still at UNM as a student, right? And this is very commonly the first job that my students get at the Albuquerque Journal. So to see the editor of that paper not have a basic understanding of the entry-level job, it's shocking to me.
Gwyneth, I'll get back to you in just a second, Kelly. I want to return to some of the hypocrisy we were discussing in the previous segment. I know that you may not be the average Albuquerque Journal reader, but I'm curious your take on how they might perceive this news based on what they've been fed in the opinion pages about this issue.
Yeah, I mean, I am a print subscriber. I pay for the paper. I'm the only one of my generation I know who does that, right? So the non-journalists, right? So the average journal reader is much older. And I think they have been trained on the messages that the Journal has been publishing for decades. And poor Patrick Etheridge, I mean, I think this guy probably was. There's a really good chance he was just super frazzled with these kids in the Walmart. Who hasn't wanted to strangle your own child in the self-checkout lane, right? But I think he is stuck. His problem is that he is stuck in the milieu that this paper created over the decades, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's probably a lot of tisk-tisking and finger-wagging and horror over this crime that this person did. I think the average journal reader probably has no idea about anything that you've said, and they think that this guy's a bad guy who did something terrible.
Speaking on that, He may have thought that himself. I mean, if this is the culture that he's living in, maybe he didn't even think he deserved to have representation.
I'm sure
He
was
thought,
embarrassed,
I scanned something,
mortified,
I didn't scan something,
ashamed.
I'm just going to admit to it.
I want to talk about this sentence for a minute. He received a 90-day sentence. The judge suspended all but 10 of those days. He is incarcerated as we sit here and have this conversation right now. When I spoke to the guy who is representing him now, that he's been locked up, he said that a 10-day jail sentence for a case like this was incredibly unusual. I am interested not only in your experience in terms of sentencings for shoplifting cases, but also what happens to a person when they're in jail for 10 days, especially somebody who doesn't make $120,000 a year like Patrick Etheridge.
So we were talking about this earlier, and one of the things that's so concerning is who can absorb 10 days of not getting paid, okay? So not only are you missing 2 weeks, which is half a month, you probably have lost your job because you won't be able to keep your job, which means you can't make your mortgage or your rent. You can't make your payment on your car. So what do you think happens to these people? They are living with family, they're couch surfing, they're trying to find a new job with a criminal history on their record now. You have created a higher crime recidivism than you ever would have if you had just given them a slap on the wrist and community service.
I don't think we're seeing hypocrisy yet, but the danger of hypocrisy is the Journal saying, oh, but this guy's special and different, right?
Right.
And that's a terrible position because you want to be kind to this guy. You want to understand it was a mistake, he was stressed, whatever it was. You want to give him a second chance, but now you're trapped by your own paper, not having ever done that to anyone else.
So I want to talk about the notion of incarceration generally as when it comes to an issue like this. For something like shoplifting, we agreed in the last segment that retail crime is a real thing in this city and in this state. But is incarceration, a 10-day jail sentence, whatever, is that any kind of a viable solution to the bigger problem, particularly given that these 10 days in jail are going to cost taxpayers about $2,500?
Well, we have learned through statistics that people who are incarcerated have an 87% recidivism rate. So we're not getting, jail and prison aren't stopping crime. It's just not happening. So we need to come up with focuses for what can. There is therapy for people who shoplift because some people get a really big rush from doing it and it's a psychological issue. There is therapy for drug addiction. We can put this money that we're using to house people into different therapies that could actually benefit our community. Because when you have people incarcerated, when they come out, they have PTSD, they have lived in a kind of environment that we can't even imagine. And a lot of them are for non-violent offenses, like drug offenses. So we haven't helped society. It's costing us a lot of money, but we're not changing the behavior and we're not stopping the problem.
This could have been a good case for restorative justice, right?
Sure.
To have this guy do something and speak to the public. You know, Diana Duran was out there on the lecture circuit for a long time after her
Former Secretary of State.
Former Secretary of State. I mean, I think he would have had a powerful mouthpiece to talk about this.
Some of those, we're going to run out of time in just a second, and I'm going to give you the last word. Some of those solutions that Kelly was just talking about, do you think it would be nice to see some of those topics and issues explored in the pages of the Albuquerque Journal?
Yeah, I mean, this is what is a big current in journalism today, is talking about solutions. I think it's a harder thing to do. It's a higher level thing to do. Maybe it sells fewer papers, right? But to me, it seems like if this is my family paper, if this is my name on the masthead, if this is my legacy I'm looking at, for me, the decision is either I have to invest in this thing, hire someone who's really experienced, really talented, really ready to go and take this paper in the direction it needs to go, or let it go. Let someone else take it over. Not some hedge fund that's going to chop it up for parts. It's already basically there, right? But give it to someone else. Either do it or let someone else do it.
That's where we're going to have to stop, unfortunately. Gwyneth Doland, Kelly Golightly, thank you both so much for the chat.
Thank you.